irritating person. I've made this point before. Among the intolerants on the right and the left, I mean, they're so grossly intolerant, people don't really want to be associated with them. And some of the things his organization stands for are perfectly reasonable and no doubt legal. But he has 40,000 people in his corner. You have 2.2 million people in the military today. He's been around for 10 years. You have to figure over those 10 years, 6 or 7 million people have filtered through the military, of which 40,000 seem to share his view. It's a small number. I think they're right in sharing his view. But as far as messengers, I don't think he could pick much worse. To a break. And I've read all about his organization and watched about 3 different interviews that he did. And he was testy, but that's the worst I've heard. That's about the rudest person. Yeah, when I say he's the wrong messenger, it's because even if you're inclined to agree with him, he pushes you into the other camp. That's why he's the wrong messenger. A good spokesperson is supposed to convince you and lure you to their side. If anything, his abrasive behavior pushes you in the opposite direction. You don't really want to be associated necessarily with an individual who's that rabid. Simple. Thanks.
Okay.
Got to get to more. See you. Jonathan, what's up?
Hey, so just a quick heads up. I used to be stationed at the Eglin Air Force Base on the Panhandle in Florida there. And I had actually had the privilege of meeting some of Mr. Mikey's civilian backers, if you want to call them that. They were more protesters than anything else, stationed right outside of our base as you're heading down toward Destin, Florida. If you would not take any of their pamphlets, they would throw very derogatory terms at you. And then if still you continued walking, they would throw the pamphlets at you, even if you would not take them. So I am all about the separation of church and state. I fight for this country proudly. But at the same time, when you do have that abrasive attitude like your guest just had, like you said, it's no wonder why he turns people off. And he is the wrong messenger because he's very egotistical. Once you get your ego in the way and once you instill that into your actual, if you want to call it factual argument, then the facts get a little bit muddied and you start interjecting your own beliefs into it. And then your argument loses validation.
Well, just the vein popping out in his forehead tends to cost him a degree of validation. But I appreciate that. I have to run, get a quick news update, and we're back.
Sure, Mikey.
Talk to you again next hour. Daryl had held on my previous guest there for a while. And Landon, hey, Daryl, what's going on?
Hey, how are you today?
Doing all right.
Good. Hey, I was just calling. I've listened to a few of your talk ventures with atheists, and one of my big beefs with them is in 1961, secular humanism was declared a religion. A couple years ago, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that atheism is a religion.
Well, my guest, just to clarify, is not an atheist. He says he's a non-practicing Jew. So
whatever. But basically, even listening to all these in the past, is atheists try to force their religion, quote, on the rest of us. Because if they can push God out of everything, then they win by default.
It's just an incredible level of intolerance.
Right,
as far as the inscriptions on the guns, they shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be that difficult to get rid of them. I don't know how they remained on the guns for as long as they did. I don't know how long they were on the guns to begin with. Certain things can be easily done away with, but in a military of 2.2 million people, you're going to find some people who are going to complain anytime things don't go their way, every time things don't go their way. And I get the impression that his organization represents a good percentage of those people.
Right. And so, but I'm kind of not necessarily focusing on what you talked about today, but I've listened to you all the time. But anyway, the one gentleman said there was an atheist, he said, oh, I wish I could put something in because they had the nativity scene there. He wanted to get it out. And he said, oh, I wish I could put my stuff up there. Well, his stuff's up there 11 months of the year because there's nothing there and he believes in nothing. And basically, it's atheism. Their goal is to just push any thought or mention of God out of everything. If that's the case, then they are using tax dollars
out of any public arena. Now, the one case he fought had to do with a nativity scene in a mess hall on a military base, and I forget where. As far as I'm concerned, unless you have to parade by it or told to stop, pause, and bow your head, there's nothing wrong with it being there.
Right. And I agree with the military is a little bit different, maybe a little different animal.
It is, and it shouldn't be the base commander who put it up, but if you have a number of enlisted personnel who put a little thing together and stick it there in the corner of the cafeteria, and nobody has to look at it. I mean, the people who act like they break out in hives when they see something like that are the ones who are grossly intolerant. And if you or I were that way at the sight of a menorah, we would be put in our place as to that we are properly the bigots. And he doesn't understand, and many like him don't understand, they're being the bigots in situations like this.
Exactly. But like I said, I'm not necessarily focused on the military, but over the calls I've heard over the holiday season and things about, the nativity scenes, it's just the whole idea of atheism. They try to push their religion on the rest of us. We don't have freedom, from religion. It's freedom of religion. And so, but their goal is to basically, they talk like we're trying to force ourselves on the rest of society, whether you be a Christian, a Jew, Muslim, whatever. But they're trying to force their views on the rest of us, which is atheism. They want to take God out of everything. They don't want mentions of God. They don't want anything that refers to God in any public arena, which that by default enforces their religion, which their religion is atheism or secular humanism or whatever you call it. And they're doing the same thing they're accusing us of doing, which really, that really bothers me.
Well, yeah, to me, it's just, I don't know, if you really can't, I wouldn't say it's a psychological, it is, in a roundabout way, it's a psychological issue. If you can't walk past someone's religious display and not be perturbed by it. I mean, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, there's something wrong with you.
I agree. And day in and day out, we walk by things with no religion in it, which is what they really like. I mean, I can't say no religion because atheism is religion. But to walk by nothing, that doesn't perturb me. But it's like the one gentleman said. He said, for 1 month of the year, they wanted to put a nativity scene out there. And they're all foaming at the mouth over that. And he said, I wish I could put something up there, for atheism. 11 months of the year, there's absolutely nothing there, which is
I don't know
atheism.
why you can't put up a nativity-type scene and say the baby's name is Ron. It shouldn't be that tough. Put it up and say it's for baby Ron, and then everybody can have their nativity scene and not worry about it.
Well, the guy tried the zombies, so anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Got to run. Darryl will do it again. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
See you. His line's open. 513-749-7000 or 1-800, the best I've ever had. And I actually did, a fair amount of homework to find out more about the guy, and he kept bringing up, I'm not sure how much research you did on me. More than I wish I had by the time we got to that. So we decided at the end we just didn't like each other, and he hung up. But my point I was making to him was he had some valid points, but he's just a horrible messenger. He just makes you want to dig your heels in and become part of the opposition. Let's see. In Dayton, got a couple of them. Jeff, go ahead. What's up?
Mike, I'm retired from the Air Force. I'm an agnostic, and I have enjoyed your program for the last 10 years. I've called in. And all of that. You're right. He's a horrible messenger for an important subject.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think throw a number out there. 80% of people who might be inclined to agree with him are turned off by his personality.
That's the first time I've heard him. I've read about him. I'm glad you had him on. To be honest with you, I think I need to write him a letter.
All right. Well, have at it and tell him I said hello.
All right. Thanks, sir.
All right. You bet. See you later. Go ahead, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Hey, listen, I just had to call in after the last guy. I'm an atheist, and I don't run around, carrying on with people. First of all, I let my children experience whatever they want to experience. They're grown now. One's religious. 2 of them are not. My granddaughters go to a Catholic school. I don't have a problem with that. They'll make their own decisions as they get more life experiences, and that's the way I think it should be.
Well, to say atheists is too broad, but atheists who are activists are pretty intolerant. Same with any group. I mean, you have feminists who are activists. Right. They're the intolerant ones, not your everyday feminist.
Correct. And let me just clear something. I have no problem wishing you Merry Christmas. My eyes won't burn out of my head. My tongue won't fall out of my mouth. All right, look, I tolerate everyone else's religion, and I just, they talk about us pushing things onto them. No, I don't think things should be in public places. That's for everyone, not just selected few. If you're going to put things in public places, I mean, come on, guys. Is it really that big of a deal? I mean, I can walk past a manger and not, blow up or turn into ashes or whatever it is that's going to happen to me. But as far as us trying to push religion down or push our beliefs down other people's throats, I don't think so. I think actually religion can be more tested to that than us. I mean, we're the ones that are told we're going to hell, fire, and brimstone. You know, we're going to be eternally damned and everything else they want to throw at us. You know, all I say is let people choose for themselves. Let them experience what they want to experience. And, you know, and I seen a bumper sticker, and I know it's an old thing, but I know you've probably seen it, Mike, the one that says coexist.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's what.
But the coexist is usually on a bumper with about 10 other stickers that are mocking different people.
Well, yeah, and that's their problem. You know what I mean? And everybody has their own issues. All I'm saying is you know, enjoy your religion. Let us enjoy our thought. And when our children and people grow up, they'll make their own decisions, and society will go with the way it needs to go.
All right, Dave. Well, listen, God bless you.
Okay.
See, that didn't hurt. Have a good day.
Mike, yeah, you take care, Mike.
All right, Dave. See you now. Rick in Florence, what's up?
Hey, Mike. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Glad to hear you back in the local area.
Nice to be around.
Hey, but let me...
Mike, you guys, this is what the problem is. There is no United States of America anymore. All these liberals, it's okay for them to voice their opinion, but if you're conservative anymore, you're a piece of crap. You know, and everybody wants to sue somebody for something. It's just that it is so far out of line, out of whack. It's not funny anymore.
You know, I don't know if I would even pen that guy to be a liberal or a conservative. I don't know what he is. I mean, he's one of those who doesn't see any flexibility to the Constitution. And, well, both the right and the left kind of, they use the Constitution as a matter of convenience. So, you know, I don't know on other subjects if he's as diehard a constitutionalist as he is on that issue or not.